Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a rising actor who has made a name for himself on the big and small screen. He landed his first role on Tyler Perry's House of Pain. From there, the auditions kept coming. Shortly after, he was offered a role on Queen of the South, which was shot in New Orleans along with others. During his journey, he quickly began to book commercials, plays, and other lead roles. He can be seen currently on Queen of the South's final season on Netflix, the anthology series Tales of the Walking Dead on AMC, and The Color Purple sometime next year. It's Marvin LáViolette, and he joins this live stream of Listen In with KNN right now. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome into a brand new live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, sports talk radio show and podcast presented right here on Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM with me, your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. I know we were all counting down to the start of the football season, but before we get to sports, I wanted to talk a little bit entertainment, as many of us do. Many of us have binge shows that we love, shows that we just can't stop watching. Well, I'm welcoming on a very special guest, an actor, Marvin LáViolette, to the show with me today to talk about some of the great stuff that he's doing. He's probably appearing on your favorite shows, talk about how we got into acting and so much more. It's going to be a show you do not want to miss. So thanks again so much for joining me, and appreciate all of you who tuned into Tuesday's live stream show with special guest Michael Smith. Now, especially those of you that say the 2 hours that we stayed on that one, lots of fun. This one, we're not going to keep Marvin as long, but again, it's going to be a very fun show, and he's joining us live from Los Angeles. Without further ado, let me welcome him in from the City of Angels. Marvin, welcome to the show. I love the dancing already. See, I love that. You know the
I turned around and I was like, okay, wobbling with it. Okay, we taking it. That's love. That's love.
Good too. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm doing well, Kelsey. I'm doing well. And yourself?
Awesome. I'm doing fantastic. Now you started dancing. The good vibes came from the West Coast to the East Coast over to me. So I already know it's going to be a fun show. And speaking of dancing, you dancing, but you have a background in dance, right, Marvin?
Yes. Actually, I do have a background in dancing in classical ballet, hip hop, contemporary, tap.
You do it all.
Yeah.
So. Essentially. I love that. So yeah, when you guys see Marvin dancing, that's a classically trained professional dancer that you guys get to see in dance moves. They didn't get to see all the good stuff I got to see backstage, but nonetheless, excited to get into this interview with you. Let's talk about, you're doing a lot right now. So you're living in Los Angeles. You're starring in Tales of the Walking Dead. Of course, that's on AMC. So I want to talk about that. And also you can be seen on Queen of the South's final season on Netflix. One of my absolute favorite shows to watch. But let's start. I love Queen of the South, and especially when they went down to New Orleans. Lots of fun. I have family from New Orleans, so all those scenes, I'm like, yes, Yes, it makes me really excited, Marvin, to talk about. Well, let's get into it. So Tales of the Walking Dead on AMC, portraying Todd. Talk about that role, what you're doing with that role, and just what we can look forward to.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And Tales of the Walking Dead is just like me being a little kid, like when it first came out, to like
Yeah.
actually being in the universe. Like it's crazy. Like I even dream about being an actor. When it came out, I was watching it like religiously. And then,
Wow.
it's had its spin-offs, everything through, and now here we are, Tales of the Walking Dead, which by the way is an anthology series, and I'm
Yes.
guest starring on there. Every other story is different, 6 different stories from different types, different times of the apocalypse, which
Yeah.
all come into one in some sort of way. But I'm not going to say anything. I got to watch
All right.
it. I played Todd on there. I'm a survivor on a ship. Our actual town, our like little village, is on this like steamboat.
Yeah.
So from there, everybody's got a role when it comes down to it, when surviving, and it's talking about the main character on the show on that episode, which is Dee, played by the wonderful Samantha Morton. You've probably seen her in like Minority Report and so
Yeah.
many other great. She's amazing. And by the way, she's from the UK, so she's like Malden. Everything's just so perfect, just moving through.
Oh,
But then when she gets on there, she's just so southern and everything, and no one
you can
knows
turn
that.
it on and off. That's what
Yeah,
surprised me
just
about you actors. You guys can do that, right? You can have your accents.
she little Courtney, just everything moving on to there, just making sure everything's pleasant and well. Other than that, just I'm from New York, so everything's just mad chill.
I love it. You're from New York. Let's get into that. So from New York, from Brooklyn, right? Specifically, we have a
Yeah,
lot of Brooklyn fans that watch the
Flatbush.
Love it. So let's talk about growing up in Brooklyn, right? Well, born in Brooklyn, but you actually grew up in the city of St. Petersburg, which, if you know your geography, folks, just right outside of Tampa Bay, Florida. So let's talk about first being born in Brooklyn and then transferring over to St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay, so being a kid in Brooklyn was crazy because I'm first generation Haitian American. So
Yeah.
low key, I do have an accent when it comes out, but as a little kid, getting made fun of when being foreign wasn't cool back then in the
Yeah.
early '90s. So growing up in Brooklyn was tough and fun at the same time.
Yeah.
You just got to come real with it. So moving from there to staying in Queens, and then in grade school, the end of grade school, I
Yeah.
would say like almost middle school, moving to Florida was a big change. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
night and
Brooklyn
day.
and Florida, just a little bit different.
Yeah. So the realism, people were actually saying hi to you when they walk by. Um,
Yeah.
the weather, everything through there was just like, okay, I'm moving through the area. Hey, how you doing? Hey, do you know me? So
Yeah.
it was a change in everything, like the scenery. It's like I'm on vacation all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So getting used to that, and the hustle of everything moves a lot slower.
Mhm.
Southern hospitality, everything's pleasant.
Yeah.
Not everything, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just like, okay, cool. Everybody's relaxed. Everybody's got going everything on versus I'm so used to moving everything fast. Everything
Right, because that's
gotta
New York.
happens through
New
there.
York is everything's moving, moving, moving. Gotta go here, gotta go there. And then, like you
Yeah.
said, you transfer over, then you're around palm trees, slower pace, Southern
So
hospitality. So yeah, just that
yeah,
contrast.
yeah, the weather, everything. I became more, I would say, more diverse in everything
Mm,
I'm doing, from like surfing to skateboarding, which I kind of did that in New York. To I got a lot heavily in cars and motorsports.
okay.
So and then I was introduced to the arts. It was as a dropout prevention. So when I was in New York, I'm not gonna say I was bad, but
Yeah.
I was a little bad. So
Like,
and then
explain that story, right? Because
I,
you can't just drop that on us and then just be like.
like I was I would come from a family that we weren't rich, but we had
Right.
nice stuff. But then we were in the hood, so then going from a family that had those stuff to losing it all is like I saw that perspective coming up in the game, everything through there. And when I got into school, I was just trying to honestly talk to some girls in like a dance class,
Yeah,
and
love
from
those
there
guys.
they end up just pulling me in there. I was like, oh, all right, cool. I'm just trying to talk to this girl the whole time. So it's like, yeah, I joined the dance class. Then, it kind of grew on me. Long story short, it kind of grew on me, everything through there. It was just different, showed perspective, the athleticism. Then from there, it just became like a cool thing. I start to see people that look like me, men that
Yeah.
look like me out here doing the dang thing. And I'm like, oh, wow, we really doing this. Like, yeah, we play football and we're on the football team too. We're playing sports, anything through there, until it got serious to one point to where I ended up going to a conservatory, Pinellas County Center for the Arts. And I went in as a visual artist, not as a dancer. So I didn't think it was that cool yet. So I was
Right.
just like, all right, cool. Then I see all my other buddies on the football team. They're like, all right, oh, cool, dog. I can't play the rest of the season. I got to go to rehearsal, stuff like this, anything going down, scholarships, anything through there. It introduced me to that, which then I got introduced to acting. And from there, it was just something I could do. It's not who I wanted to be. It was just something I could just do. Coming from
Right.
a first generation Haitian American, full Haitian family. Everybody's either from Haiti, DR, or Canada. So
Okay.
that's my whole family. So it's like, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be an engineer, nothing
Right.
like that. Like, so we did not come to this country for you to go to that. And then there's just like anything coming on with adversity and diversities through that. I
Right.
end up, long story short, like my father ended up passing in my teen years.
So
So
sorry.
it felt like I was like obligated as
Mhm.
like the next man in the house to just go into school. So I went in for engineering, anything through there. Um, I did dance the first semester, but I got injured, and then I was thinking everything through. I was just like, okay, let me do this. I can do it. I can do engineering. I can do all that stuff, technology, whichever. I did that for a little bit until I found out, like later in my years, I was just like, I'm not happy. It's not cutting it.
Right.
I'm seeing my friends on Broadway. I'm seeing my friends in their dreams. And, they come back in town, come hang out. We'd kick it, and we just talk about old times. And I
Yeah.
just wasn't happy. It was just
Right.
like, why don't you just show up to something? A buddy of mine just told me about an audition. I kind of
Wow.
finagled like the resume real quick. It was just some local stuff, and I was on my bucket list. I wanted to, if I'm gonna be on a TV, and I kind of like had an ex, like at the time I was like, man, if I break up, she don't see me. I'm a bump, whatever, like that. I was like, I was going to just be an extra, and somehow stuff happened. I'm talking to people. I end up talking to one of
Wow.
the producers. He got me in the room, so I end up taping. They end up calling me back a week later. Next thing I know, I'm on set as one of the principals, and I'm literally like on the job training, just sweating palms. Like, all right, what do I do in between this? Da, 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 da,
Right.
da.
You're learning as you go, right?
Yeah, I was learning. I'm knocking on my castmate's trailer, like, hey, what do I do with da, 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 da? I became that annoying kid, like writing everything down. All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool, word, word. So from that, just a bunch of experiences, trial by fire.
Yeah.
My training coming down as a professional, as a dancer back then, life experiences. I did my first feature film. It was a film called Crazy Lake. It was an independent film.
Congratulations on that.
Um, it was cool. And then, after that film was done, the grind starts again. I didn't have an agent at the time, nothing. I'm seeing my castmates. I still kept contact with them, seeing what they're doing.
Right.
So you need to go out of town and do this. Well, I still need to keep doing this. It's not
Yeah.
because the next thing's open for me, because no, the work keeps going.
Right.
So I was
The
still
grind.
and I was still at my day job, my 9 to 5, with engineering. And, I start, it's funding, it's taking care of my classes, it's funding my career, anything like through that, like pushing myself. And it came down to a stalemate. Like, I
Yeah.
either keep doing this or
Yeah.
really go for what you want. And at the
Yeah.
time
Going
I
for
had
what you love.
I had a
And
really
that's a hard
supportive
decision
team.
for a lot of folks, right? Like you said, you had a 9 to 5, which I'm sure was steady, paying the bills, but then there
It
was
was
something that
nice.
you loved, right?
Yeah.
Something that you really loved, that you really wanted to do, that kept yearning inside you, right? That you wanted to follow. And I feel like that happens to probably a lot of folks, but you actually chose to go follow, right? What you really wanted to do. And that's like that
Yeah.
leap of faith and that kind of betting on yourself.
Yes, definitely faith. Like you said, faith, a leap of faith. And I found out with vulnerability, when you're honest with it,
Yeah.
which it sounds easier said than done, because I still struggle with that now, learning how to be vulnerable. There's strength in that vulnerability, because
Mm,
you can face those stuff. You can face
I love
those matters, those open stuff. I think I don't remember if don't quote me on it, but it was a saying someone had told me, is the only way to get past something, the only way to get to something is to accept.
that.
And the way
Right.
to get past something is to go through it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
at the same time, it's just like, all right, I have to get through this. How am I going to get from point A to point B? I have to
Right.
accept where I'm at. My perception of my reality and my world. I'm glad I have a really good circle of
Yeah.
friends and loved ones
So
where it's just
important.
real. Like,
Yeah.
it's real. They'll give me the real. And at the same time, it's not like, I've learned at the end of the day, I'm talking to you right now, Kelsey. I'm listening 100% what you're saying. I'm listening to understand, not to respond.
Mm,
So it's like, I'm listening to what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's for me to take that knowledge, whether I'm
right.
taking 99% of what you're saying or 9% of what you're saying. I'm going to take in some of it. I have to apply it to what I have in my life and move
Yeah.
forward. I have to make the decisions. I have to learn how to be vulnerable. Okay, you're right. I don't know what to do. It's
Right.
hard for me to say you're right and then follow, but or anything like that. And it's
Yeah.
just, you're right. I need to do that.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying because, being vulnerable is I think that's something I even struggle with at Marvin, honestly, to be honest with you, because, vulnerability can be seen, honestly, for some folks as like a weakness, right? And, we're trying to be seen as these strong, people all the time, especially because of social media, right? Like everything's kind of going good and going on.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you're asking me to be vulnerable and like, showing my downtime, when I'm sad or crying. Like, I think that's hard. And especially as a Black man, as a Haitian American man, I kind of want to dig more into that because I don't think that's something, we're teaching, young guys, even I'd say, to be vulnerable. It's just, always be strong, toughen up, don't let people see you cry. And as we talk about, mental health more, it's becoming something that's kind of more accepted. But, I wouldn't say it's the norm just yet.
You're right. You're right. They teach us in school. I remember we had it. I don't remember. It was like middle school. I don't know if you did the one. We called it Finance Park. You took a field trip to an area and they gave you a job for a day. They gave you a job. You make an income and just learning how to spend it. All right, you make $50,000 as this or $25,000 as a mechanic. What do you spend on this? Now you have to buy an apartment, and it had a whole like mall. It was like a mall for kids.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah,
and they, I don't. It was in Florida. It's New York. It was just like, all right, we went over there. I make this much X amount of money. Now I have to budgetize. It shows you how to budgetize. It shows you how to get money. But there was no classes about mental health. Like, how do you handle speaking up? How do you handle being vulnerable? Discussions. They're quick to talk about politics or social studies or anything, but then they're just not talking about it's one thing on mental health, one how to express yourself, learning yourself. If you're at a state of growth, you're constantly changing.
Right.
So what does this textbook template have to do with my life? If something's changing under there, like, you're just fitting me constructs. So that coming in, as a brother, as a Haitian brother, brother that speaks multiple languages, coming from Toughen Up, anything like that, it's cool. Sit down. Like, I really want to talk about it, y'all. Like, no, man, chill out, bro. Smoke this. Chill out, drink this. Chill, whatever like that. Yo, toughen up. Stop being low. I don't know if I can censor myself.
We know what you're about to say, Marvin.
Stop being low. So it's just like, just chill out, man. Stop worrying about it, man. Just chill out, chill. Versus like, yo, let's sit down and talk about it.
Right.
Like, the homework. Yeah, the homeboy playing devil's advocate, anything like that, which I'm very, very, I'm not going to say proud, happy about, because that's an ego thing, even though without consciousness, we all have ego, just different levels to it.
Of course,
but it's just like, where do you stand with those people able to show you that outside reality of ourselves? We all live in our bubble. I'm not going to lie. I have my own bubble. I do like to see stuff from perspectives of how, when people came in the room, what were they dealing with before they came in the room? So it's just like, at the end of the day, I'm just thankful for the people I have around me, and I'm always constantly seeking to change myself. I'm always appreciative of where I am. Should have, could have, would have. We all like to compare the person to the next to us, anything through there. But at the end of the day, the person that we're in a race with is ourselves. It's constant, like Great Nipsey also said, it's a marathon. So it's just
marathon continues.
Yeah, it just continues. It's constantly going. So I wrote a sheet of paper on my own. I did it on my ceiling like a weird crazy person, and I wrote it and I said, "You got this." But it's like, it works for me. It's something I need
and
to
you
see.
can always see it. I like that idea of putting it on your ceiling.
So who I was with at the time, she was just like, "Why do you always have that piece of paper?" And like, one time it fell down and hit her in the face when she slept, swinging. But it was just like, it's something for me that I use to ground myself.
Right.
Like, you got this. So to answer your question, everything like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important. And, something you touched on, I want to kind of just dive more into it. So, you talked about growing up in a Haitian American family. And like you said, they wanted you to be an engineer or a doctor, kind of like those jobs that a lot of parents want their kids to be, right? Because they're like those solid, secure jobs where you make a lot of money. And kind of those jobs, where there's uncertainties, they're a little bit tougher to get into. Not all families want their kids to do that because, again, they want their kid to be off well and maybe even be able to take care of them one day. So now when you look back and your family looks at your career and where you are and what you're representing as an Haitian American on screen now, doing what you're doing, how does your family look at your career now?
My mom, she's happy. It's been a big change because she's always low key been an advocate of whatever I want to do compared to my brothers and my sisters, and how my dad was and how I was raised. Because it was just like, even now, my aunt, like, oh, Marvin, oh, you used to do such a good job. You do like, oh, you at the house, why are you doing this? I see you with the girl on TV, wear her clothes. It was just like, they see me doing this stuff, but then they're like, okay, then that schedules you for something else. I'm like, no, mom, that's the next work. They're like, that's like me coming into an interview for whatever you want to do, mom. That's like you doing an interview every day. And it's not guaranteed.
Right.
Comes down to, do you really want this or not? And I feel like I want not even like my name to be an infamy, or to me to live forever, immortality, me immortalized on TV, anything through there. It's just, well, what have I done? When my name comes up, what impact does it have?
What impact does it have? Yeah, that's deep.
So that's basically what it was through there. I hope that answered your question.
No, that was great. Because, like you said, I mean, you go back to it, your parents being a little bit unsure, but now obviously you're doing, what you love. And I love your story even before, how you started dancing to kind of get close to the ladies, get close to the cute girls. And then you actually start dancing, and that kind of leapfrogged you into acting. And obviously it got you to where, you are now. And so I feel like everything kind of happens for a reason. So maybe that girl was in that class for a reason, Marvin, and you were chasing her for that reason. Because now it seems like you're walking in your purpose. And I can just tell you love what you do. From the passion that you're just kind of talking through as me and you talk about, what you're doing right now. And that passion is obviously very important, right? Because as an actor, people can tell when you're really into your role. And I'm sure your goal is what? To keep getting probably like...
to keep going on. Yeah, to keep doing more impactful stories and change it up. Like, I'm blessed with what I'm working on now, what I'm going to work on right now, what I'm working on currently, what I've done. It's just the impact I leave behind people. It's just like, wow, you as a person, wow. Oh, and then you were so-and-so? You're nothing like I saw on TV or anything like that. It's just like, when someone brings up your name, how do they bring it up? I used to think about my friends, anyone I talk to. When you talk about somebody, is it a positive in your it's like, the tongue is sharper than the sword. So it's just like, is it something positive? Just saying their name. Kelsey. I talked to her. She was so cool. They just so... I felt it was so safe and open floor to talk to her, anything through that. Or like, man, you feel like Kelsey? You saw her cut off that other dude on 12th Street the other day, like right when she left, or anything like that. It's
That's what I don't want. That's what I don't want.
Yeah, it's just like, how do people speak? But then again, there's a difference, thin line between that and people pleasing.
That's real too.
So,
right. Being authentically you, hoping that people, can talk to you and who you are. But like you said, making sure that you're pleasing yourself and not just pleasing others. Because at the end of the day, you live for you. And this life and journey that you're going through is yours, right? And you're making your story. People will play parts of it. But if you're not happy with yourself at the end of the day, how can you expect others to maybe say happy things about you? Because more than likely, you're not going to probably putting off an energy, right, in that room that maybe people will, relate to, or there won't be an aura around you that people just kind of go to. So I think everything you're saying is so true and it's just so real.
I love that. Life is about self-fulfillment.
There you go. Self-fulfillment. We're dropping words on here, Marvin. Real stories. And, as we talk about self-fulfillment, so we talked about you in Tales of the Walking Dead. Let's talk now about Queen of the South's final season on Netflix.
Yes.
Let's talk about this, your role in this, and what it means to be, part of I'd say a hit show, right? That so many people have kind of latched onto.
Oh, yes. Queen of the South. First, I watched it for a while, and I was like, oh, man, this is cool. See a lot of my boys do it. And then randomly, a really close friend of mine, a fellow Haitian actor, he came to my house. Literally, I was moving out like the next day.
Yeah.
Last thing left in my house was my backdrop, like my little tape room. Like I have like my whole taping studio. I'm in my taping studio in my room, in my house. And it was just like, that was the last thing left. He was like, all right, I'm going to come over and knock it out. We had fun with it, knocked it out. I was like, hey, you didn't audition for this? Like, no. Like you really should audition for this. This is like you. And I was just like, all right, I was helping him with the buddy. We all want each other to win. There's plenty of work out there for everybody. So he got me the tape. I was like, okay, cool. We had fun with it. And I sent it to my manager. She sent it to casting. Literally, I moved out of my place. I'm waiting for my other house to open up. I'm like on my buddy's couch, just like, all right, cool. What's going on? Just waiting for stuff. I was a little discouraged that week, moves happening, anything going on there too. What's up, Sean? You guys, the BMF. But at the same time, it's just like we're moving through with everything, and I get a phone call. You got the job.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, it's the middle of COVID. Everything's down there when COVID had first started. I'm like, oh, what I need to do. And so,
Right.
you know, I'm out there. I'm waiting like months to film. We finally get on there. We film. I get to work with JT Campos. He plays Boaz. Hilarious guy. He literally
Boaz is great on that show.
hilarious. I talk to him still to this day. So he's like, hey,
Oh,
how about Cobron? Hey, Cobron, what are you doing, man? I'm just chilling. You in Miami now? So it's just every other time. Um, just brilliant dude. And
yeah.
I loved it. Everyone I'm jumping on there with, everything going through there. I jump on, I start playing around with the scene. I'm playing, you know, hanging out with the extras and with the goons and everybody like that. I was like, I get my own gang. It's cool. One, I get to rep my people. Let me show it through there. Two, it's in Miami, even though, you know, mostly filmed in New Orleans, but you know,
Right.
it's Miami.
You can
So
celebrate.
yeah, it's over right now. So hopefully none of them are watching. It's all love. So it's like, all right, I get to do that. We're playing with guns because I'm a machinist guy, so you know I like guns. I like plants too. I like, you know,
I love
practice
that
safe
balance.
guns.
He likes guns and he
Practice
likes
safe.
pets.
Yeah, plant dad, gun dude. So it's just like, all right, I get to play with all this stuff. It's stunts at the same time. The weather, it was so cold. We filmed in
Oh,
January. We had to
wow.
make it look like you know, it's a whole nother world. You know, this is what we
Right.
do. So I'm
Right.
wearing my backless open-toed shoes, blowing in the breeze and 60, like 40 degrees. I'm like, all right, cool. Got my shirt blowing out, you know, got the hamburger meat hanging out, you know. I'm just like, all right, cool. I get in there, do the dang thing. It was just amazing. And
It's
the
wonderful.
honest truth and the authenticity I got to bring to it. And the producer was like, oh, you're actually Haitian. Like he was one of the writers was listening. He pulled me aside. We would look into the episodes. We're like, I got to see like later on when I died. That I was like, or do I? I don't want anybody to watch that. You guys should watch it.
Yeah.
And everything comes through there. It's just the authenticity of it and the
Yeah.
amazing people. And I got to rep my culture.
Yeah.
Bringing the
So
truth isn't
like
because
the perfect role for you.
yeah, a lot of times in film, they just, oh, okay, I'm gonna be real about it. Okay, yeah, you're black. Okay, you could be Jamaican.
Mm,
Okay, you
yeah.
can fit into this. You just look like okay, we'll just talk like this. No, it's like four different versions of Haitian Creole. There's the North, there's the South, there's the West. Is there from
Right.
Port-au-Prince, from
And most people don't
Port-au-Prince?
know that, but yes.
Yeah, so it's so many like dialects and everything changing into there. I was like, okay, I just, this is my backstory. Johnny Mac, he's from Opalaka. Originally, he's from Porepe or Cap Haiti. Anything through there, he came on through, and this is what he's bringing to it. It's just authenticity was just so good. It was so like open arms, and everybody over at USA and for 20th Century Fox, it was just open arms, and it's like nice. It's my first set of like all my brown and my brown
Yeah.
people, all my people of color. So it's just like so cool. And it's just love. So
That's
to
so
this day I
wonderful.
still talk to some of them.
Again, if you guys haven't tuned in yet, again, Queen of the South, check it now on Netflix when you guys have time.
All
So
five
good.
seasons.
All 5 seasons. So good. I mean, once you watch the first episode, I don't know how you don't get tied in. You're going to want to just binge.
Oh, Teresa.
Oh, we love her. We love her. Teresa Sodas, Pote, all the characters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All you guys are just fantastic and great. I'm telling you guys, it's something that will keep your attention. And so you go from what you are doing to also you have some cool stuff coming up. I know you have the highly anticipated sci-fi comedy show Damascus, also on AMC, coming out in 2023. So next year, folks. And then The Color Purple. Super excited about this one. Also excited to release in 2023. Anything you can give us, any tidbits or secrets you can spill as you're
The Color Purple, I would say it's definitely there's gonna be some singing. Obviously,
Okay.
I don't know if anybody looked it up. The star-studded cast.
Oh, yes.
Amazing. And for Damascus, it's going to be different. It's going to hit. We got I'm not going to say my buddy Oak, his whole name.
Okay.
Yeah, but names like Martin Lawrence are going to be there. Janet Hubert,
That's huge.
original Aunt Viv, she's going to be on there. Just brilliant, just beautiful people. Kirk Moore was the showrunner. Amazing. I can't really talk on that or anything like that, but just amazing.
I understand you can't
spell
everything, but this
amazing story. So just definitely tune in for that. So you'll see yours truly up there acting full.
Yeah. We get lots more Marvin.
Stories. Yes, lots more.
Lots more Marvin 2023. put these on your calendar, folks, and these are going to be things that you want to follow. And I just want to go back, as we talk about, just representation, in media and films. And one of the opportunities you also got was actually when you were living in Atlanta, right? When you got a role on Tyler Perry's House of Pain. So I want to talk about that because obviously Tyler Perry is someone who has been championed, for his diversity in his roles, for making sure that people of color are able to act and play major roles on screen. So just kind of want to talk about your experience working with him and that fantastic cast.
Oh yes, yeah. Working on that cast with that cast was amazing because Lance Ross, shout out to Lance Ross, he wrote the episode that introduces my character. Just bringing onto it, like it brings opportunity to people that looks like you and me, and just Atlanta in general puts them on the map, and it's another way to just take things to a next level because it does so much representation on the show. You have so many brothers that stand for so many ways. Me, I call myself I'm pretty eccentric, black nerd. I was in the hood. I can hang out with my surfer homeboys. I can science. So introduce is it introduces my character, and it's just so dope. He's just so chill. He gets Lance Gross's character to come out. I don't want to get too into it. I want people to watch it. So he gets him, get into the shenanigans, everything they got onto the show. It's just like, okay, who's this guy? We want to know more about this guy. What do they get into? House of Pain really talks about issues that Black families go through. And it's just from our perspective, not just for our people, for everyone else to see. This is why representation in TV is so big. So it brings that out. And obviously the show's been going on for like a decade. It just came back. It was on for like 2 years. Now it's back. So after a decade, it's already been out there. So it's newly directed by Mark Swinton. So he's killing it. He's killing it. So, and it was my first sitcom. So it was funny. Everything laughed. So I was like, okay, I really am funny. Okay. You're laughing. Okay. Cool. So I was just like bringing everything on another look. It was nice. When I was in Atlanta, a lot of the work I was doing, funny, was outside of Atlanta. That was the first job I actually worked there, even though I still didn't get to drive. They like pick you up and like, all right, cool, let's bring you to set. And the representation, like, oh, you look like me, you're talking, you look like me, you're moving that camera, you look like me. Oh, cool. It's just like, hey, everybody's at the cooking. So the whole place is at the cooking. So it was just beautiful. A lot of my other work has been out of state. Like a lot of my stuff has been New Orleans, NCIS, Your Honor, Coming to the South. Plenty of times I'm always there. I was like, okay, and it made me think, just Atlanta. Like, but I was like, no, patience. It's gonna wait. Just keep on bringing my genuine, authentic self
to work.
So it's just,
and that's huge when you're able to do that and embrace that, because you had actually moved to Atlanta, right, to get more opportunity and to kind of follow your dream, right?
Yeah, because it was like, okay, move to. I know a lot of people in New York, but no, that's not the move. And then there was LA. A lot of people just moved to LA.
Right.
It's not for everyone. I'm not one to say what people need to do or anything like that. It's not for everyone, but you need to make sure you have a grasp of reality and see what works for you in your situation. So then it came down to Atlanta. Oh wow. It's closer, cheaper. A lot of people look like me.
Yeah. Check.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, family's not that far away. But then that was my first time being away from family. So that made a whole nother strength that came into me, like strength and vulnerability, like I was saying before. It's just, all right, I'm out here. I got to do the thing. At times it hits me. I'm having fun, anything through that. 'Cause don't get me wrong, Atlanta is fun. If y'all want to record me for that, Atlanta is fun. So it's just like, at the end of the day, I needed to find out, like, ground myself. Like, why are you here, Marvin? Why are you here? And then during the pandemic, there's a lot of time to myself, a lot of time thinking, a lot of meditation, a lot of praying, anything through there. It was just like, that's where that term came from. You got this.
Yeah.
So regrounding myself back up. So being back over Tyler Perry Studios and working with them, I like how it grounded me. I had my own version of my own grounding, but then it showed me a whole new perspective, able to see it in that light. Hearing so much about it.
That's huge. So Marvin, as I'm talking to you and as people are learning you, maybe who aren't as familiar, people who are familiar with you, even learning more about you and your life and your journey and your story, at the end of the day, when we say Marvin LáViolette, what do you want people to just kind of most remember about you or say about you?
Ooh, I like that compound question, statement question. Um, what do you want people to remember about me, you're saying, or know
Yeah,
about me?
what do you want them to remember about you, know about you? If your name comes up in a room, what do you want to be said?
Definitely a genuine giver because, and I do that when I say that
Yeah.
for everyone, but then for myself too, because I'm being the person that I always wish I had growing up.
Hmm.
Someone there to support anything through that subconsciously. I realized that about maybe
Yeah.
like 2 years ago. Um, and it comes with this statement. I don't know where I got it from. I made it. I don't know. I got a copyright or something. Everyone on Clubhouse, anywhere with like all real. It comes down to those who give will always have, and those who
Mm,
take will always need.
mm.
And that's just for each to their own. So at the end of the day, I'm genuinely giving to make room for what I know what greatness is coming for me.
Yeah, I love that line.
So I just want to just be me. I'm still working on it. I'm not right all the time.
Yeah.
Learning how to just accept anything through there. Like, okay, cool, you're right. What do I need to do? I'm not afraid to look dumb. I'm failing. Well, everyone will look cool. Huh? Yeah, I want to look cool. But it's just like
Yeah.
I use those failures as lessons, and when I fail forward.
Mm. Fell
So it's just
forward.
like
Yeah.
just giving,
And that's what life
giving.
is though, right? It's a journey. So right, we're all still learning, right, about ourselves and our capabilities and what we can do. And maybe as you get older too, maybe there's some things you don't want to do, right,
Yeah,
anymore. This is just the process of life and the journey. And that's why our story is always being written. I think that's what's so exciting about you. Your past has been incredible, but then also your future, Marvin, is so, so bright. I'm just excited for you, just proud of all that you're doing. And again, just can't wait to see what's coming up. And then when Marvin, the actor, is not acting, what's some of the things that you like to do outside of when you're not busy working on set and stuff?
oh, okay. I like that. As an eccentric ADHD grown man, I'm a plant dad. So every day, when I get done with my routine, I pray, I meditate. Sometimes right after I
Okay.
meditate, I go back into prayer because I'm more clear.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you guys know Anapana meditation. It can be guided or on your own. It's just breathing. It's just
Yeah.
different breathing techniques. Um, Between meditating and watering my plants, uh, this might sound bad, but not like I like guns only because it's a tool. Only because
Okay.
it's a tool. Like, well, I'm like taking them apart, the machine, the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
I work on like my project. I have like project cars. Like I did drifting, road racing, a lot of off
Nice.
roading,
Fun. Yeah.
uh, skateboarding, a lot of longboarding. I'm learning how to surf right now, and
So California sounds perfect for you with all of your
yeah,
interests.
everyone's saying that. Everyone's like, yeah, you originally from here. Like, it's like, all right,
I'm
cool.
very Californian.
Yeah, so I'm very diverse, being the New York City boy, the island boy, to I'm out here in California, month
Yeah.
number 9, I believe. I got here at the end of December, January I started at. So it's just like I'm very blessed. I'm going through it like everybody else. Not making it as glamorous as it sounds. We all go through what we need to go
Of
through
course.
to
Right.
be where we're at. So yeah, I would say those hobbies between that and right now, I'm slowly working on building a race car out here, like a
Oh,
drift car.
nice. That's fun. Well, we're gonna have to get the update and check in on the race car, Marvin.
All
That
right.
sounds like a cool, fun project. And again, I think it's so important that for people to see, like, we're so much more than just our jobs and our careers. We're human beings at the end of the day. We all have interests, likes, and loves. You guys just got a chance to hear from Marvin's and his favorite things to do. Marvin, such a joy and blast to have you on and talk with you.
It's
Best
amazing.
wishes
It's
with your
amazing.
upcoming projects. Thank you. I appreciate that so, so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Kelsey, and everyone else for listening and having me on the show.
Of course, my pleasure. Before I let you go, where can people follow you so that we can get all the exciting updates and follow along when these new movies drop and new shows in 2023?
All right. You guys can follow me on Instagram at marvelous_official because you can't say you can't say marvelous without saying Marv first.
That's true.
So, and you can follow me at Marvin LáViolette official on Twitter
Yes.
and Marvin LáViolette across all platforms.
Marvin LáViolette. So much fun having you on. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me. We'll let you get back to the beautiful California sunshine and can't wait to continue following all just the great things that you're doing. Best wishes with everything, Marvin. Thanks again so much for joining me live
Thank
right
you
here on
so much.
KNN. My pleasure. My pleasure. Have a great one, Marvin. Keep in
All right.
contact.
You too. Yes, definitely.
Thanks. Bye. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this live stream edition. We'll be back next week with more live stream shows as well as new audio shows that will be dropping. You won't want to miss it. But again, check out Marvin Tales of the Walking Dead. So all of you guys that like the anthology series, you should be watching that. And then if you're on Netflix, Queen of the South, if you haven't watched the final season, Marvin is on that. You aren't going to want to miss that. So once again, though, we are excited for football to kick off. We are ready for a football preview. So be sure to follow the show. I'll have some more special football guests actually joining me next week. I won't be releasing their names yet, but it will be special blasts from the past. And once again, thank you to my entire team for always getting me ready for these new and exciting shows. And I am very excited to be soon welcoming on a brand new class of interns. All right, y'all, enjoy your NFL football Thursday. We're excited for more football all weekend long. And have a great one. As always, please, guys, remember to subscribe to the show on YouTube and, of course, on all your favorite podcast platforms. And just continue to also look out for new shows that will also drop online. Have a great one. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM, Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio now offers official Kelsey Nicole Nelson apparel in a variety of styles for men and women. Fashionable shirts, leggings, hats, jackets, and more. Order now and get 15% off and free shipping. Just enter promo code KNN. Get your Listen In with KNN wearables today. And check out Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio with Kelsey Nicole Nelson.